What if I told you the most praised love story in hip-hop, the one that defined loyalty, sacrifice, and strength, was built on something entirely different? What if Remy Ma and Papoose, the couple who embodied the ride or die motto, were actually entangled in a quiet betrayal that lasted over 20 years? What if the family the culture held up as a beacon of real love was, in reality, built on a foundation of omission, deception, and one jaw-dropping lie? Because just days ago, the truth came out. A truth that had been sealed in silence for 2 decades, and all it took was one DNA test to shake the core of the hip-hop community. It started with a leak, a single envelope from a routine hospital visit. What was inside wasn't just test results, it was a grenade. A secret Remy Ma never expected to surface. The child she raised, the son Papoose loved like his own. The boy we've seen in photos, tributes, Instagram posts, Father's Day celebrations, Jason Scott. He's not Papoose's biological son. Instead, the true father is a name we all know. Someone deeply tied to Remy Ma's come-up. A man who once stood next to Papoose in ciphers, interviews, and award shows. None other than Fat Joe. Yes, that Fat Joe, the same man who co-signed Remy in her early career. The founder of Terror Squad, the Bronx heavyweight who always referred to Remy as his sister. But as the DNA results show, and as years of quiet clues now suggest, his relationship with Remy was much more complicated than the industry realized. So how did we get here? How did the most admired couple in rap end up in the middle of the most shocking paternity scandal since the Maury era? To understand, we have to go back. Way back. Early 2000s. Remy Ma was young, fearless, and rising fast. The Bronx was buzzing with her name. She was battling in basements, recording in smoky studios, and navigating a male-dominated industry with sharp bars and even sharper instincts. But behind the verses and performances, her personal life was chaotic. Messy relationships, competing attention, rumors of flings with artists, producers, and managers. At the time she became pregnant with Jason, sources say Remy was romantically involved with 2 men. One, a committed and grounded lyricist named Papoose. The other, a rising Bronx legend who had already tasted success, Fat Joe. According to insiders, when Remy found out she was pregnant, she made a choice: stay silent. There was no paternity test, no confrontation, just quiet acceptance of a narrative she could control. She had Jason, and for a while, she raised him alone. But then came Papoose, loyal, patient, present, willing to love Remy and her son unconditionally, willing to take on a role he never questioned. And that's exactly what he did. For the next 20 years, Papoose didn't just act like a father, he was one. He taught Jason to walk, helped with homework, showed up for milestones, and posted about his young king like clockwork. The public praised Pap for stepping up, especially while Remy served time in prison. He was hailed as a unicorn, a man who stayed when most would have walked away. But now we're left wondering, did he step up, or was he set up? Everything changed this year. A medical situation triggered genetic testing at the hospital, and in those results were discrepancies that raised red flags. Papoose, ever observant, noticed. He asked questions. Remy, at first, denied anything was off. But eventually, backed into a corner, she agreed to take a DNA test. What came back wasn't just a result, it was a reset. Papoose was not the biological father, and the fallout was immediate. According to those close to the couple, Pap didn't yell, didn't cry, didn't argue. He simply walked away, left the house with nothing but his car keys and the weight of betrayal on his shoulders. And as fans scrambled to make sense of it, another twist emerged: the identity of the real father. Whispers about Fat Joe and Remy had circulated for years. Some fans even joked about their chemistry, but no one really believed it, until now. Multiple sources have confirmed that Fat Joe had quietly maintained a connection to Jason for years. Birthday presents, backstage passes, expensive sneakers, always signed Uncle Joe. But now, Uncle seems like code, a title used to mask a deeper truth. One source, a former stylist for Remy, claims Joe even asked to reconnect with her in private back in 2011. No cameras, no press, just DMs and nostalgia. Even more suspicious, a 2004 freestyle by Joe resurfaced online. In it, he raps, "I gave her the flow, the name, and something else she ain't claim." What once sounded like a clever bar now feels like a low-key confession. Fans began connecting the dots. Reddit exploded with side-by-side photos of Jason and Joe. The resemblance is uncanny, from their eyes to their stance. One comment read, "Papoose was raising a carbon copy of Joe and didn't even know it." Then another bomb dropped, an old Terror Squad video showing Fat Joe holding a toddler. At the time, no one questioned it. But fans now believe that toddler was Jason. The reaction online? Devastating. One post went viral. "She let Papoose raise Fat Joe's kid and smiled in his face the whole time." And while the internet burned, Fat Joe broke his silence in the most cryptic way possible. He went on Instagram Live and said, "People talk a lot, man. But I ain't never speak on family business unless the family brings it up. That's all I'ma say. Bless up. No denial. No deflection. Just a smirk." Meanwhile, Remy continued posting like nothing had happened. Selfies, studio sessions, throwbacks. One post read, "The truth always finds its way." Fans were livid. Jason, now 23, has largely remained quiet. Except for one post, a black and white photo of him in the studio wearing a Terror Squad hoodie. The caption? Just a single emoji. And now rumors are swirling that Jason is preparing to change his last name from Mackey to Cartagena, Fat Joe's real surname. But the drama isn't just emotional, it's becoming legal. Fat Joe's team has reportedly filed to establish legal paternity and parental rights. This isn't just about being called dad, this is about legacy, custody, inheritance, and if the court sides with Joe, he could become Jason's legal father, erasing Papoose's role altogether. And Pap, he may be preparing for a legal battle of his own. Legal experts say he could sue Remy Ma for emotional distress and paternity fraud, a case that, if successful, would make hip-hop history. Because for 20 years, Papoose gave everything to a family built on half-truths. And now, the emotional cost is immeasurable. The culture is split. Some artists are supporting Pap. Others are defending Remy. Cardi B, ever loyal to the Bronx, went live and said, "Y'all better stop playing with Remy before she throws hands. That's still my girl." But fans aren't so forgiving. They feel betrayed, not just by the lie, but by the brand that came with it. Remy and Pap didn't just live their love story. They monetized it. They made songs about it, built a legacy around it, and now it all feels like a carefully constructed illusion. Then came one final emotional twist, a voice memo. Just 17 seconds. Poor audio. But it spread like wildfire. It was allegedly Remy Ma, crying softly, whispering, "I didn't lie to hurt him. I lied to survive, and now everything's ruined." The internet was quick to respond. One reply hit hardest. "You survived. He sacrificed." And that's what makes this story so painful. It's not just about DNA. It's about deception. About a man who gave everything, love, loyalty, reputation, only to realize he was building on a foundation of lies. And now, as the courts get involved, as the name change looms, and as Jason stands between two legacies, we're all left wondering, what happens next? If Fat Joe becomes Jason's legal father, if Papoose walks away for good, if Remy never faces the public honestly, what does that make her? A mother doing her best in a complicated world? A mastermind who controlled the narrative for decades? Or a manipulator who built a kingdom on silence? The truth? Probably some combination of all three. Because in this story, there are no clear heroes. Only heartbreak, only silence, only receipts. And this time, they come with names, faces, and DNA.